Well, hello. I am on solo, flying solo today. We are at, 7-7, lucky 7-7 today, 2021, 7-7-21. That's some gambling numbers right there. I am your host, David Julius Tina. You can call me DMFT. I don't have my partner in crime today. He is on his way to Denver. What is he doing? The regional conference for realtors for Region 11. He used to be the regional vice president for Region 11 last year, 2020. If you don't know, now you know. 6 states comprise of Region 11, Rocky Mountain District. I like to joke and call it District 11, like the Hunger Games. But these are your states. These are your states, my friends. So it's Nevada, Arizona, Utah, Colorado, Wyoming, and New Mexico. And it's one of the growth areas. If you think a lot of people are moving here, if we added in Utah, we would have pretty much all of it under control. So this is Dave and Dave Show, episode 121. Wow, there's another 21. 7-7-21, episode 121. We got to go gamble, my friends. We got to get out there. All right, big news today. So, because everyone is on a plane, I don't know, have you ever seen that show? God, what's it called? It's with Kiefer Sutherland, and it's this crazy show where everybody is in the Capitol building at once, and there's a bomb in the Capitol building, and he was the one, designated survivor. That's what it was, designated survivor. I'm the designated survivor today because everyone's on the plane, even though I have not been the president since 2017 of our local association. I'm doing some interviews for the association. It's kind of nice to jump on and get some work in. Beautiful. So, that being said, I have all the numbers. Now, here's the thing with the numbers. Keep them in context. But it's super exciting today because we have hit a median price of $395,000. Now, numbers don't mean anything without context. So let me give you some. In 2012, I believe it was 12, our median price had plummeted all the way to $118,000. It was pretty crazy. In some areas, 60 to 70% drop. Now, in our height in 2007, 2008, our median price was $315,000. $315,000. Here we are at $395,000 at the precipice of hitting $400,000. Now, we don't usually talk about average price because we keep track of median price, but I think it's worth talking about. Our average price of single-family homes sold in the month of June was $495,000, which also means that we're at so average is when you average in all the houses. Do a little math lesson, and that's your average price. Median is the same amount of houses sold over a price that sold under a price. It's literally the median, okay? That's at $395,000. So average price, if you're looking to buy a house, you're going to spend almost $500,000 on average. Median, almost $400,000. That's not even taking into account new homes, which pushes these prices up even more because, as we all know, new homes are more expensive. So, what does this mean? Doing these interviews, and I keep hearing the bubblicious, bubble of water. What, Dave, can you tell me what's going to happen? And listen, Marty McFly, I am not. I do not have a crystal ball. I do not have a time machine. I do not have Gray's Sports Almanac. I wish I did. I wouldn't be predicting the housing market. I'd be predicting what Game 2 of the Suns and the Bucks were going to be and put it all in, right? But what does this mean? Because everyone loves the sound bites. Media reports on what it's supposed to report on. You're supposed to know what's going on. What does it all mean? That's the question I want to answer, because the first thing that came to mind and the thing that I put here is, are we the best kept secret in the nation? or are we just an overpriced desert city that shouldn't even exist in the first place? I think a lot of people ask that question, right? And it's a good question because, listen, I've been here 26 years. Actually, what's today? July 7th. July 9th will be my 26th anniversary. 17-year-old Dave graduated from high school in New York, coming out to Las Vegas on his own with his buddy Eddie and going to UNLV. 26 years I've been here. I've seen a lot. And I could tell you, when I moved out here, this was a little town. Barely 1 million people. Barely. Not a lot of places to eat food, not a lot of casinos, and clubs were non-existent. If you remember, Shark Club, the beach, the drink, that was it, right? Maybe Club Rio for us Guidos out there, right? You remember Metro Pizza, and Nora's was just a pizza place back then, and there wasn't a lot of places. It was a small town. Tier 3 city at best. And here we are. We are starting to get in conversation of the big cities. The conversation of the New Yorks and the Chicagos and the San Franciscos. Are we there yet? Absolutely not. But we're starting to put it together with a 2 million population, 2 million plus population, major sports, professional sports. I mean, we have the Raiders. Think about that for a second, whether you like them or not. The Raiders are one of the most iconic football teams ever in any NFL, in the original AFL. We have amazing NHL startup with the Golden Knights. And I believe we will have a basketball team when they expand. It will probably us in Seattle. So that's significant because follow the money and that'll show you where the tier 1 cities are. And I'm bullish on this city. I mean, we are going to see massive growth in the next couple of decades. I mean, California has all of its issues, even though I love California. I don't hate on it. Still fine. Show me where you can get 75 degrees year round other than Southern California. But it has its issues. It's expensive. There's regulatory issues. They have things they got to deal with. And we are the beneficiary of what's going on in that state. I think the Southwest, that Rocky Mountain region I just talked about, is the one that is going to grow. We think about it. From Texas over, we're seeing the growth. Texas is booming. It's almost become, you think Vegas is unsustainable with prices. Look at Texas. Traffic, congestion, infrastructure issues, power grid issues. Don't even get me started on bugs and weather and humidity and all that stuff and tornadoes and stuff you got to deal with Texas. And it's grown. You can't touch Austin. You can't touch Dallas. You can't touch Houston. You just can't. And then you make your way over, right? Arizona, insane. Growing rapidly. Utah, it's becoming California East. Colorado, growing rapidly, right? And obviously what's going on here. Even New Mexico is seeing some growth. So are we a tier 1 city? Are we overvalued or are we undervalued? And this is the conversation we need to have because when I get this sustainability question, they're like, people are getting priced out. And I agree. Affordability is becoming an issue for people who live in Las Vegas and have been here. But it's not an issue for people who are moving from Southern California. It's not an issue because even if you're inland, you're selling your house for 7 figures and you're able to come here and you have real money, job opportunity, and a growing city. If you're coming from the Northeast, the Northeasterners, my New York people, they're going to Florida, obviously. They're going to North Carolina. They're going to Texas, but they're also coming here as well. Then you have the Midwesterners, same game. They're coming here, and you come from these places. Vegas doesn't feel like it's expensive. It doesn't. We're still only a $400,000 median price and a $500,000 average price. So you couple that with tons of money in the market, the nation opening up, interest rates that we'll never see again. I can almost say that with 100% certainty that we're never going to see this again. I mean, I don't know where you go from 2.75 and 2.8. I mean, unless the entire system gets changed. So what's coming? So I answered this question with, yeah, it's difficult. It's difficult for a buyer out there that has a $350,000 price point and is getting beat out by many purchases. 30% of purchases are now cash. Investors have these hedge funds backing them. They can go buy up everything. It's a tough game. But if you're diligent and you get in, I still think there's tons of value on the market inside of it. Now, what happens if we plateau or peak? Guess what? We will plateau or peak. It's not a matter of if, it's a matter of when. That's the question. But we've all been saying it's going to plateau or peak for the last, I don't know, couple of years. Now listen, we can't predict the future. We don't know what the government's going to do. We don't know what cryptocurrency is going to do. We don't know what the stock market's going to do. We don't know what's happening in global markets. But even if it changes, does it matter? And that's the question you have to ask yourself. Because I think we're asking the wrong question. The question isn't, is it going to bubble out? Is it going to drop? Is it going to peak? Is it going to still go on? The question is, do you have the capacity to get in the market? And what I mean by capacity, I mean financial capacity. I also mean risk tolerance. Because I know this, stay with me, this seems like maybe a higher level game we're talking about. But it does not matter what happens to the value of your home if you're playing the long game. Doesn't matter. Now, when the market drops 60 or 70%, the majority of those towards the end, the majority of those short sales and foreclosures were strategic. People just walked away from things they could actually afford to pay the mortgage on because the government incentivized them to do it. Now, a lot of people were in a bad spot, but that just domino effect. It exacerbated the issue, right? Rather than just be like, hold. And I mean by this is, I'll give you a story. My father at the time had, let's see, three rentals. Now, we sold our Red Rock houses. We didn't lose any value on that before it all crashed. But then the rentals really took a hit. And we moved into them. Then we bought houses on the low, and we kept the houses rented. Now you're talking about houses that were purchased. I'll give you one example. One house was purchased at $190,000 on September 12th, 2011, day after September 11th, for $190,000. It hit a high of almost $400,000, and then it went all the way back down to $220,000, $210,000. But my father, as having this rental, he had it rented the entire time. He cash flowed every single month. And he watched it go all the way back over 10 years, back to $390,000. He sold it, and it's probably $440,000 right now. But if you're focused on your equity and you're focused on how much you're worth, wrong conversation. Did it cash flow the entire time? It cash flowed the entire time, never hurt him. My father made money the entire time. You see how this game works? If you're in the home of your dreams and you're locked in at a 2.75% house and you just purchased it and the market goes up another 3 or 6% and it stops and then goes down 15%. Does it really matter if you're in the home of your dreams? Does it really matter if the price that you're paying or the payment you're paying every month is affordable to you and you got a great job and you're able to make the money, you have the capacity to make the money? It does not matter. So I'm hesitant to say this because it sounds like a salesy real estate pitch to be like, it's always a good time to buy. But I'm going to prove it to you. If someone handed you $10 million today, I guarantee the majority of you would invest in real estate and land and you would hold. Even in an inflated market, you'd hold because that's where you'd put your money. So if money were no object, you'd be into real estate. But if we start getting cute and we start trying to time the market, we start trying to think that we are these gurus, because everyone's a freaking genius right now, because of course, no matter where you've put your money in the last 8 years, you're up, right? So everyone thinks they're a genius. They just keep doubling down, doubling down, doubling down. Here's where you get in trouble, my friends. This is where you got to be careful. I know in the stock market or crypto, even in real estate, You can borrow at 10 times, 20, 50 times, 100 times of what you actually have. You could borrow on margin. You could borrow and really over leverage yourself. Over leveraging yourself is not a good idea in any market. That's where you have to be careful. Because if one thing changes in the world, you're stuck holding that bag. So as long as you're not over leveraged to the hilt and you're smart, the opportunities are endless. They're limitless in life. So that's my take on it. And do I think we're overvalued or undervalued? Long term, we're undervalued. Long term, even with water issues and heat issues and climate change issues and whatnot, we're undervalued. Long term. Short term, maybe we're a little overvalued, but doesn't matter. Doesn't matter if we're in this abundance mindset where this is a long-term hold. I cannot lose as long as I stay committed and I don't get FOMO and keep running around. Because what happens is this, same thing in the stock market, same thing in any investment. People freak out and one thing changes and then everyone runs for the door and then it just plummets everything. So here's the thing. What am I doing? I'm watching. I'm disciplined. Am I spending money like a sailor? No. I spend when the money's right. I'm not afraid to write a good check for a business opportunity. I'm not afraid to expand when the time is right. Do I write a check for a business opportunity that's shaky? No. I don't get caught up in the nonsense. Do I expand just to expand? No. I expand when it's smart. Because I know winter is coming no matter what. And I'm prepared. So if a great deal comes across my desk, one of our agents brings something to me, I'll buy it. I'll buy it, but on my terms. And at the same time, I keep powder in the gun because cash does matter. I have access to money and lines of credit that when things do go on sale, I'll also be a purchaser. That's just basic financial awareness. But this is the next level, the higher level conversations that consultants of real estate services should be having with their clients. Like, what is your end game? What would you like to do? What kind of money do you have? Can you tie up this amount of money? Do you want a cash flow? Or are you looking for a long-term play? What are you doing? Are you moving in from town from somewhere else? Well, you cashed out wherever you moved. You're coming in here. It's a great. Are you moving up? Are you moving down? Do you want to middle it? Do you have a $2 million house that's too big and you want to buy $1 million house that's a little bit small and you want to take $1 million off the table? Do you have a $500,000 house, but you have a growing family and you want to go up to $1 million house and you want to take your equity, dump it into the bigger house, get a better mortgage interest rate than you had before, and there's opportunity there too. You won on the sale of the equity and you paid a little bit more on the purchase, but you got a great interest rate. Higher level conversations. That's what you got to focus on. So as we hit the 26 years here, yes, I'm excited for the future because I know we're only scratching the surface because I'm from a real city, a tier 1 city. I'm from a spot where there's awesome restaurants and things to do and museums and so many activities. And that is, frankly, almost the center of the world in New York. And I know how much runway we have left in this city. So if I'm an agent out there, I'm reaching out to my buyers and I'm saying, here's the deal. We have been in a tight inventory market for the last 2 months. We're starting to open up. There's some inventory coming out. There's more options. The buyer fatigue is still there. Houses are still going fast, but there's more houses on that market than have been in a while. Got some options. Let's go out there and get it. Let's get aggressive. Let's get ready to pounce. Let's be available. Let's go in. Go. If I'm a seller and I've been thinking about selling, maybe I'm moving, maybe I'm all the reasons I told you, buying up, buying down, regardless, now's the time. Why is now always the time? Because we don't know what's going to happen in a couple of months. We don't. So sell. Because here's the thing. If you're going to sell and buy and prices go up, well, guess what? You'd get more money for your listing, your house, but you'd pay more for the house you buy. If prices are going to go down, yeah, guess what? You're going to get less money for your house and you're going to pay less for the house. This isn't rocket science, my friends. So get in the game. That's what matters the most. You don't want to stay on the sidelines. And go get a mortgage calculator. Go online, little thing called Google, and play the mortgage game. See what the difference of a house, let's say the market dropped 15 to 20% and mortgage rates went up 2%. Are we ending up at the same place? Probably. But I'm going to tell you what happens eventually when it does happen. People are going to freak out. And you're going to go in the opposite direction because you watch this show. And while chaos in the world is crumbling around you, and people go, oh my God, the market's down 10%, you're going to confidently start to purchase. Again, just like you purchase when it's high, you purchase when it's low, and you hold. So that's your little financial questions for the day. Now, let's see if we have any questions on it. Now, let's talk about some of the questions that were popped up. Let me answer a couple that we have here. Hold on real quick. Okay, what advice do you have for those looking to buy or rent in this market? Don't give up. Be diligent. If your realtor isn't willing to work their ass for you, find another realtor. This isn't a solicitation. Find another realtor. If your realtor can't be available, they better have someone else that can show you houses and be available. Because if you blink, it's gone. What challenges do realtor face in the current market when trying to save your clients? Listen, guys, I get it. It's not just buyer fatigue, it's agent fatigue, right? But you're a professional. You're a company. You own a company. You may not be the owner of the real estate company, but you do own a company. It's called John Doe LLC, and it's you. So guess what? You got to be ready to serve. Okay, advice for those selling their home. Should they continue to hold now or cash out? We already answered that question. And do you think the bubble will burst soon or not? And we've added to that, it's all relative, my friends. What is even a bubble? Now, have I noticed that everything is going up in price? Sure. Go out to dinner, it's more expensive. Get gas, it's more expensive. I get it. If it doesn't feel right now, follow your gut. Time is always right when you listen to the person inside. Get an expert to give you all your information and then talk. I will mention this again. Every day someone calls me like, what should I do? And I'm like, what do you want to do? Get the whole contextual situation. Where are you at? What do you own? What do you want to do with your money? What are your future plans? What is your interest rate? And then go. So, all right. I love talking to myself. Let's see, 25 minutes straight. That's all I got for you today, my friends. Big day. 400,000. I'm excited. I love seeing growth. I am so bullish on this city. I really feel like we are only scratching the surface. I know what's possible for the future. I love the growth opportunity. I know what's possible. I'm ready for summer. It does not matter. I'm betting on me, baby. You guys have a great day. That's the Dave and Dave Show.